see this Bustier style everywhere these days, and I made my first one about 3 years ago. This time I wanted to film a sew along and share the process with you. The modern Bustier, as we know it, actually appeared in the mid-20th century, especially during the 1950s. Earlier garments like stays, corsets and bust bodices did support and shape the torso, but they weren't bustiers. The true bustier emerged once fashion began moving away from restrictive corsets. It combined the support of a bra with the structure of a bodice, often using flexible boning and sometimes built-in cups. Designers in the 1950s and later in the 1980s and 1990s helped make the bustier a fashion piece rather than just a lingerie. Today I am not making a traditional bustier, just a slightly modified version. I wanted it to be comfortable to wear, so I omitted certain structural elements, but still kept the overall bustier silhouette. If you would like to see the entire process from start to finish, stay with me until the end of the video. So, let's get started. I always begin a project with planning. Noting important details. And my favorite part, sketching. Sketching helps me visualize the design clearly and serves as a great reference for future projects. For this bustier I wanted something simple with plastic boning and fabric loops at the back, made from the same material. I love the clean, cohesive finish that gives. I began with an older pattern I drafted myself. Since it's about 3 years old, I started by sewing a mock-up because patterns rarely fit the same after so much time. After finishing the mock-up, I noticed a few issues and decided it would be better to draft a completely new pattern rather than fixing the old one. This gives me a clean, accurate base for future projects. I truly believe that learning to draft your own patterns is one of the most valuable skills in sewing. With that knowledge, you can create anything you want and fit it perfectly to your body. So my advice is, invest the time into learning pattern drafting. Even if it feels challenging, it's absolutely worth it. Once I drafted a new pattern and tested the mock-up, I was really happy with the fit and ready to move on. Before cutting, I always wash and press my fabric. For this bustier, I'm using a vintage brocade. I decided to skip interfacing and stay tape on the main bodice. I wanted a softer, more natural feel, so I'm only adding a little interfacing to the cups for gentle support. I start by tracing the pattern pieces and cutting out all the fabric. Once everything is prepared, I begin sewing the center, side and back panels. After assembling the bodice, I move on to the boning. I fold the seam allowances to form channels and top stitch them. The back seams are pressed toward the center, the side seams toward the front, and the front seams stay open. That's where I will add 2 extra boning channels. I make sure the seam allowances fully cover the boning for a clean, secure finish. For this project I'm using plastic boning. I simply slide it into the casings without sewing through it. It's less flexible but works well here since I'm not using interfacing. Sometimes I use regeline boning instead. It's lighter and softer and you can sew directly through it. When I use regeline I always add interfacing for support. Before inserting the boning, I straighten each strip with a steam iron to remove any bands from storage. Then I mark 1.5 centimeters from the top and bottom edges. Measure and cut each piece. Seal the ends with a lighter. You can also use a file or cover the ends with tape for an even cleaner finish. Next, it's time for the lining. I trace the pattern again. Add a 1 cm seam allowance, cut all the pieces and sew them together. Once the lining is ready, I align it with the main bodice and pin the layers together to keep everything in place. In the meantime, I made the loops for closure. I place them between the lining and main fabric and secure them with pins before sewing. Then I stitch the top edge of the lining to the main bodice. Carefully trim the corners and reduce the allowance around the cups so the lining lays smoothly. After turning the bustier right side out, I understitch along the top edge and press everything carefully to keep the lining from showing on the outside. Now it's time to close the bottom edge of the bustier. After sewing, I trim the corners, turn it right side out through the opening. Stitch the opening closed using a blind stitch or a slip stitch if you prefer. This technique is ideal because it neatly closes the gap without any visible stitching on the outside of the garment. And now it's time to work on the cups. First I add interfacing that is pressed with an iron to the wrong side of the fabric, and I transfer the pattern pieces onto the fabric. I'm also cutting the lining for the cups and first attach the lining pieces. After stitching, I press the cups using something rounded or a tailor's hem I use my handmade and it works great. And next I sew the cup center and side pieces. Then top stitch the seams toward the center, and I repeat this for the upper cup, pressing the low ones upward. Now I put the lining and main fabric together, right sides facing along the top edge, and then I do understitching. I turn the lining inside down and attach the cup and lining completely and then press. Once everything is ready, it's time to attach the cups to the main bodice. I'm skipping underwire channels because I wanted to make the cups from the same fabric. Without underwires, my goal is simply to achieve a clean, neat finish on the inside of the bustier. At this step, it's again time for the needle. I always do a basting stitch before sewing to keep everything in place. This temporarily holds the layers together, prevents shifting, and is especially important in tricky areas like the cups. After being sure that everything is correct, I sew the cups into the bodice, paying attention that all seams match the main bodice. After attaching the cups, I press everything again to make sure all seams and edges are smooth and crisp. Finally, I thread a ribbon through the loops for closure. I'm using a shiny tape that I had for a long time. It works perfectly with this brocade and adds a nice, elegant finish. And here is the result. I'm quite happy with how my bustier turned out, and even without using foam cups, it has great structure and fits very well. The bustier is a perfect blend of elegance and femininity. Inspired by one's restrictive corset, it transforms the classic shape into a piece that celebrates comfort, freedom, and style. Do you prefer bustiers, or are you more of a corset fan? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.